What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Today, we're talking about the brand new Sengoku Sugafest. It's going to be debuting pretty close to when this video is being recorded. Currently recording this pretty much at midnight. This Sugafest is going to go live in like 12 hours or so as of me recording, 12-13 hours of me recording this video. And I know that some people are just going to ask, should I be pulling on this Sugafest? Inevitably, every time a Sugafest banner comes out, people are going to ask, should I be pulling on this banner? And it's a pretty straightforward answer. No, you shouldn't be pulling on this banner. We are about a month away from the 8.5 anniversary Sugafest. We have a pretty good inclination that, it's going to be a relatively big event. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know the theming, but we know 8.5 Annie is coming. Last year in Japan, 8.5 Annie introduced the super classes into the game with Doflamingo and Katakuri, so there's a very good chance that there might be some type of new mechanic or a really powerful character or characters coming for mid-November-ish, so look out for that. And obviously this is kind of like a filler banner to kind of fill out the time, I feel like. Once again, a huge shout out to Captain Pappy for creating the infographic. Shout out to the fellow GGP host member. Make sure you go ahead and check out the Good Great Perfect podcast as well. But let's go ahead and just talk about the infographic that we have here and talk about each part of the Sugafest. So with most of these generic batch Sugafests, you got multi-parts, and you got part 1, which is typically pretty bad. The thing about part 1 that makes it bad is that they usually make the debut character on part 1 a lot more difficult to pull, and they do that by diluting the pool and reducing the rate of the character themselves. If you want to get your hands on Sengoku, you should be pulling on part 2 or part 3. Those are the best chances to get him, but honestly speaking, you probably should just be avoiding this banner altogether. I'm just gonna say right now that I also am not gonna be pulling here on part 1 of the Sugafest. I might do a couple on parts 2 and 3, but look, I'm not going to be going crazy for a character such as this. This is a character that you can pull on any other ticket that you get for free moving forward into the future. So I don't really think that there's much of a rush to get this character right now. And he is also a super tandem character, so you definitely want to pull dupes of him in the future for sure. But of course, this is not a character that's going to be, single-handedly helping you clear some difficult content. I think he's going to be a nice character to own, but I definitely don't think he's anywhere near to being like the best in the game, for example. But let's talk about part 1. So let's have a look at all the characters we have here. We've got a pretty good pool of characters, I must say. Like, I know a lot of people still haven't got their hands on Hiyori and Ulti because they are relatively recent. Zoro and Sanji, I like, honestly, when this guy was first announced, I wasn't that excited for him, but he's been really good. I've used him a little bit since his release, and he's been pretty impressive. Who's pretty bad. I don't like him that much. Law and Kid are phenomenal characters. Both of these characters are pretty much on the same level of a Super Sugafest exclusive. I'm not even kidding. These characters are just stupidly good. Frankie's pretty good. Brook is kind of mid. Odin's pretty good. Kinemon Denjiro is fine. Usopp Nami's bad. Reiju's okay. Vivi's pretty good. We got the Ace and Akainu. I mean, if you still don't have Ace and Akainu, this character's just dummy. This is dummy good. You got Zoro, who's kind of mid-level. Luffy Sanji's pretty average. Smoker with a level limit break and 6+ is going to be godly. Hopefully that happens at some point. Super type Blackbeard's kind of weird to be on here. Nami, Robin, V1 Kaido, a little bit outdated now. Cat Dog, very good for the Grand Voyage versus Local Sea Monster. Whitebeard and Marco, very outdated. Garp's outdated. Judge recently got his level limit break, so keep an eye out on that. This guy does not have one yet. Magellan just got level limit break, and all of these 3 all have level limit breaks as well. So these ones here with the level limit breaks are definitely worth keeping an eye out for. The limited pool obviously restricts the pool to adding very, very cool characters, and then the super limited pool is severely restricted, but they got rid of Kid and Law from the super limited step. That is so cringe. How are they going to go ahead and do that? Oh man, that is dumb. Yeah, I don't like that at all. That's really, really bad. And actually, the rare recruits are going to be changing between each parts as well. That's intriguing. Typically, they don't do that. At least in more recent Sugafest, they haven't opted to do that. But I guess what they've done here is that for part 1, you can get access to all the new rare recruits. And then for parts 2 and 3, they change it where you can only get 2 of the 4. Well, you can get all of them on all the parts in terms of the rare recruits, but it's a lot easier to pull Akainu and Aokiji on part 2, and a lot easier to get Kizaru and Fujitora on part 3. But If you're pulling on a Sugofest, you're not typically pulling for the rare recruits. A lot of the time you want to see the legends and kind of make a determination of where you want to be pulling from there. But the steps obviously are also important. So the part 1 structure, 1, 2, 5, so man, that's a lot of guaranteed legend or rate boost step. I guess we could pretty much ignore that and just have a look at everything else. So the third multi, you're guaranteed to get one of the new rare recruits. So you're guaranteed to get one of these 4 characters. I think all of these rare recruits are actually really good. So I don't think that's really ultimately a bad thing. 4, 10, 18, 23 is a guaranteed legend. 8 is a limited pool legend, so is one of these characters on the 8th multi. And then we have a 12, 15, 20, 25 for a super limited step. So there's actually a lot of those steps, but the first one is guaranteed at 12, which I think is a little steep. And I don't think that most people out there should be doing 12 multis on part 1 of this Sugofest. Absolutely not. So I think that we can pretty much say with a lot of certainty that part 1 is going to be a bad step for a lot of people out there, especially if you're going super deep and, you know, you're going to these super limited steps and they didn't even put the super tandem characters in here. That's a bit of a weird one in my eyes, and I think it's a little strange that they decided to chuck Nami and Usopp in here. And not put, you know, at least one of them in there. Like, that's just bizarre in my eyes. All right, so let's actually get to the most important part here. Let's actually talk about the part 2 and part 3 of the Sugofest. So if you are going to choose to pull, these are the 2 parts you probably want to be looking at. So let's compare and contrast this one, right? So like these characters, they're kind of splitting up the batches, right? Where you've got like Ulti here, Hiyori here, Black Maria here, Sasaki here, and obviously you got Who's Who a little bit earlier. And you got Law here, but you got Kid here, and then you got Brook here, but you got Frankie here, and then Kinemon Denjiro there, and then you've got Odin there, and then Nami Usopp, and then you got the Robin Jinbei, but there's no superclass Katakuri, but Dofi be chillin'. Vivi and Reiju are split up, Bonnie was by herself, and then you got, you know, miscellaneous characters. Actually, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at these level limit breaks. We've got V1 Big Mom doesn't have one yet. Kuzan got his 6+ with level limit break, very good. Eneru with his level limit break is pretty solid. Kainu is good. Blackbeard, I'm not a big fan of his level limit break, but it is a good buff nonetheless, and Kuzan did get one. And then having a look at this one, Kizaru Hody is a really big one. Sanji, really good for that Grand Voyage. Fuji does not have one yet. And you also have Legend Garp, who would really be good with one, but unfortunately doesn't have that buff quite yet. Alright, so let's have a look and see here. Now, in terms of the top-end talent, right, I think Hiyori is better than Ulti. I think Sasaki is probably better than Black Maria, but I think these guys are about even, to be honest. I think Law is better than Kid, but Kid has some nice abilities. If I had to choose, like, if you could only own only Kid or only Law, I would say Law is definitely the better pick. I think Frankie is the better pick there. I think Odin is the better pick here. Kinemon Denjiro is respectable, though. Robin and Jinbei, definitely the better pick here. Then you've got, like, Dofi's really nice. Vivi's really good. Ace and Akainu is really good. Man, like, definitely part 2 is better. I think overall part 2 is definitely the better part. But there are definitely some nice units in part 3, like Robin, Jinbei have been crazy valuable as of late. And Hiyori, also extremely valuable. Frankie is a really nice unit, but obviously a bit of overlap with Luffy and the Straw Hats if you opt to use him in a crew. But then, you know, the bottom end stuff is really dependent on what characters you kind of want. I know a lot of people want to get their Sanji maxed out for that Grand Voyage quest. So I guess if you are looking to do that, then part 3 might be where you want to invest gems if you do choose to pull here, which I strongly advise against doing that. And then the limited pull as well, which of course they just pick out the best of the bunch essentially. And you got some really good characters on either side. I mean, realistically, you just go for the one that you have the most missing. But if you're missing Law, whew, I gotta say, Law has been so valuable recently. He is just ridiculous. And then you got like Brook, who's like meh. Black Maria is really nice. Ulti's fine, I guess. And then here you've got like Hiyori, Sasaki, Kid, Odin, Robin, Jinbei. Reiju's been okay. Bonnie's okay. Like, this limited pool does look better. But I think overall, like, this is still kind of nice too because of Ace and Akainu. They have a lot of weight that they carry in this banner. Specifically, if you don't own them, part 2, I think, are carried quite heavily because of that unit as well. Plus Law, you know, there's just a lot of value here. But either way, let's have a look at the structure here. These steps don't really matter. I kind of just want to ignore those. Guaranteed Legend 3, 7, 13, 16. blah blah blah. It's pretty steep actually. The 4th multi, you're guaranteed to get Akainu or Aokiji on part 2, or Kizaru and Fujitora on part 3, because those are the ones where the rev recruits are boosted. The 10th multi guarantees you a limited pool legend, so the 10th multi guarantees you one of these pools of characters on each of their parts. Interesting. And then the 30th multi is guaranteed V2 Sengoku. Look, if you're going to 30 multis for Sengoku, then whew, more power to you, bro. I definitely wouldn't be in that mindset, to be honest, not for a character such as this. I'm definitely in more of the boat of, you know, I'll just pick him up whenever he shows up, whether it be on a treasure map ticket, whether it be on a Chopper Man ticket, whether it be on another random Sugo Fest. What you can also potentially do is hold off on pulling and wait to see where he's boosted on the treasure map Sugo Fest and potentially try your luck there, because I think there's a very high likelihood that there is going to be a treasure map legend this month, mainly due to the fact that this batch and the way that it works would be kind of difficult to employ in a treasure map setting. So I think that there's a very good chance that there's going to be like new treasure map legend and a couple of boosters that are meant to work with the legend for the upcoming event. I would probably say that. I don't have any like 100% certainty of that, but I think that just judging on what the batch does, there's a good chance that that will be the case, especially because, you know, it is just a regular batch of like regular month batch that is only debuting one legend. So I think that there's definitely a good chance that they'll debut another one on either the Kizuna or the treasure map, and I think the treasure map does make a lot of sense. But all that being said, that is going to wrap it up from me, and once again, thank you very much to Captain Pappy down here, down the bottom, for creating this infographic. If you guys do opt to do summons on this banner, I wish you the best of luck, but I will not be being one of those people pulling, at least not pulling too crazily on this banner, to be perfectly honest. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.